How is Ilia doing health-wise, Dana?
He's doing good. He's doing good. You know, tough kid, obviously. You know, after the first round, his eye was bothering him. You could see that he got hit. And at one point, he like started covering his eye like this. It was kind of, you know, messing with it. And then, you know, Justin just kept busting.
Topuria is going to need time to recover mentally, emotionally, and physically. He's never lost before. This is gonna take some to overcome. One of the things that was Topuria's greatest weapons, greatest strengths, greatest traits, besides his overall ability and technically be sound, and you know, he was a full package. He really was. Talent-wise, technique, everything. But one of the things foremost that leads the way for all those things to mean something is he has supreme confidence. He was a guy who didn't think
Dana White has finally spoken out, revealing what truly happened with Ilia during the action inside the cage. He also gives fans across the MMA community an early glimpse into the future, outlining what lies ahead for the newly crowned champion, Justin Gaethje.
He really wanted to continue, and then and I actually think he probably won that round too.
Yeah,
that he went into
round 4.
His corner, I think, stopped the fight and tried.
While talking about what may be next for Justin Gaethje and Michael Chandler, including the possibility of stepping away from competition, Dana White acknowledged that these situations are never easy. He emphasized that the final choice belongs to the athletes, and only they can determine when it's time to continue fighting or call an end to their careers.
Iron, and that's what you want to do.
Yeah.
You know, it's probably what you should do. But on the flip side, you just beat an undefeated badass, decisively. Finished him. And I don't know, it's just something that he needs to work out with, himself and his own mind and with his family. Obviously, that Michael fought is just so good. Jeez. And that's the thing about Chandler. I mean, even going into this thing, Chandler's like, look at the guys that I fought. I mean, I fought all the baddest dudes in the division. And the lightweight division is nasty. The lightweight division is like the old light heavy.
Without hesitation, MMA Guru shared how he believes the division should move forward, suggesting that Justin Gaethje's first title defense be scheduled against Arman Tsarukyan. In his view, the matchup should determine the undisputed UFC lightweight champion and help establish a clear leader at the top of the division.
Gaethje's next opponent should be Arman Tsarukyan in the lightweight division for the undisputed world championship, of course. It's time to give Arman his title shot. I know he's been out for a long time, and if Ilia had won, you'd also want to run the Arman Tsarukyan match because of the bad blood that they have. But now I think you've got to do Gaethje versus Tsarukyan because he's been inactive, but he's still been building his name value, and the wins that he has in the lightweight division, including the win over Charles Oliveira. I know it was a split decision, and I would have loved to have seen it ran back before we don't get a chance to, because it's Tsarukyan next. I know Oliveira has a win over Gaethje. I know he does, okay? And I know that you can use that to say, well, Oliveira should get a title shot against Justin Gaethje, but I think it's time for something new. I think it's time for a new name to be in that lightweight title picture, because Ilia Topuria was that new name, but for a while it was just Makhachev versus Poirier versus Oliveira, and then Khabib was there and he was taking on Poirier and Gaethje, and I just feel like all of the same names have been in the lightweight title picture for a very long time. It's time to let someone new get a chance.
With Justin Gaethje's future now in focus after the shocking result, discussion has naturally shifted toward the possibility of a second fight between him and Ilia Topuria. Teddy Atlas believes a rematch makes the most sense as the next move. However, he also pointed out that Topuria will need a considerable recovery period, both physically and mentally, before he is prepared to return to the octagon and compete again.
Broken physically and mentally. And the mental part's going to take probably longer than the flesh to heal and to get right. And I want to say this. There's things that have to happen for an upset like this. And things went right when he made a mistake going to the floor, but still, take none away from Gaethje. But what also went right was...
During the fight, Ilia Topuria voiced concerns about problems with his vision, leading the cage-side physician to evaluate whether the contest should be halted. After discussions involving Topuria's corner team, the bout was permitted to go on. The decision later became a topic of debate, with many questioning whether allowing the fight to continue was the right call.
What the doctor, when he heard it, he only had one way to react. I got to stop this. That it seemed like Topuria said he couldn't see. And when you say that, you're saying stop the fight, basically. Because you know what a competent doctor, responsible doctor is going to do. He's going to look out for you. He's going to stop. So it looked like that's what was happening. And then all of a sudden, first of all, it was pretty obvious they didn't want the fight stopped. They didn't want it. I mean, they could. I'm not saying they were risking his life. I'm not saying that. But they didn't want the fight stopped. I don't think any of us did, to be quite frank. But you don't want a guy...
At first glance, it seemed that Ilia Topuria's corner was urging the referee to keep the contest going. However, Chael Sonnen later presented a different perspective after speaking with Devin Cole. According to Sonnen, Topuria's brother was not asking for the fight to continue, but was instead informing the referee that they were done and accepting the end of the bout. He believes the strongest evidence is the composed and relaxed behavior shown at that moment, which he interprets as a sign of surrender rather than an objection to the stoppage.
Fight or the doctor ever stops a fight, and to an extent, if there's ever a 10-8 round, and I'm not quite willing to go that far, but if the referee or the doctor ever stops a fight, that is to let the corner know you have failed at your job. The referee should never be in a position to stop a fight, particularly in between rounds. But even as the action is going, the corner is there. The corner should...
Sharing a key technical observation that many fans may have missed, Corey Sandhagen pointed to a subtle but important element of the fight. He explained that Justin Gaethje repeatedly mixed in knee taps and the possibility of a takedown, forcing Ilia Topuria to account for more than just the striking exchanges. According to Sandhagen, making Topuria react to a threat he had not fully adjusted to created openings in close-range situations, helping Gaethje find the opportunities that ultimately proved decisive during the clinch battles.
Really well in this fight is he would shoot to boom, kind of like this knee tap position. He'd collar tie and then throw uppercuts. That's a really good idea for someone that's pressing, just because if Elias is pressing me and I don't want to like open myself up and start to punch in front, I just get this guy thinking that I'm going to go low. They have to kind of respect it, or else I'll just start shooting real shots. Boom, and then he's starting to throw uppercuts here, which if there's like those little gloves, if they just nick around like the eyes of the bones and stuff, you land enough of those, like they'll start to really like close your eyes, which is exactly what happened. Ilia, I thought, did a pretty good job in the beginning rounds. He made a really weird decision in the second round, like going for...
Continuing his technical assessment, Corey Sandhagen praised Ilia Topuria's skill in close quarters fighting, emphasizing that his head movement and positioning inside the pocket make it extremely difficult for opponents to connect with clean shots, even during intense exchanges. Sandhagen then pointed to a potential drawback that can arise for the shorter fighter in this type of matchup, explaining that a defensive reaction that normally serves as a reliable safeguard can, against the right opponent, create openings and become a risk rather than an advantage.
A really good job when he is throwing attacks of keeping his head super pointed. It makes it really hard to like land like really hard shots, because when you are this pointed, even if you do get hit, obviously don't hit me, but even if I do get hit when I'm like this, I'm like in such a powerful position. Whereas if I'm like this and I get hit, I kind of like get spun a little bit more. So Ilia did a great job in that second round of boom, like keeping his head way pointed and just being here like this, especially being a shorter guy. If you can get underneath someone and start bombing punches, really all that Elias can do from this spot is start to throw uppercuts. But if he starts to throw uppercuts and I'm like looping shots over here, that typically doesn't feel like a super...
A closer technical look at the fight points to a pattern that has caused problems for Ilia Topuria in previous bouts as well. He often moves to the very edge of his opponent's punching range and then leans backward to slip incoming strikes. From the very first exchange, Topuria stepped straight into Justin Gaethje's range, where an unexpected jab immediately landed clean. In simple terms, it suggests Topuria may have misjudged the danger Gaethje brought into the cage, a costly error that became more apparent as the fight unfolded.
The one thing that gets Ilia Topuria in trouble is when he walks to the edge of his opponent's range and takes a shot, and he leans back. Ilia Topuria is on his feet. He's a boxer. He's not moving athletically. He's not moving side to side. He's not throwing push kicks. He's not throwing really high kicks. He's not looking to clinch. He can clinch. He can wrestle, but he likes to go about his fights with his hands and getting himself to the right distance. Right off the rip, he goes straight into Justin Gaethje.
Expanding on that analysis, Demetrius Johnson highlighted a deliberate strategic choice made by Justin Gaethje's corner that played a major role in how the fight unfolded. From the opening bell, the focus was on enduring the early aggression, relying on Gaethje's durability to push him into the later rounds. Although Ilia Topuria had stretches of success that appeared threatening in the moment, Johnson pointed out that once Gaethje absorbed and survived that initial pressure, the momentum of the fight gradually began to change in a way few had anticipated.
Usually he's on that X and that Y. He's going here, 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 here. But when he backs up like this, he uses his shoulder instead of using his feet to avoid the shots that Justin Gaethje tried to hit him with. So once Justin Gaethje was able to land that shot right here and here and here, you start to see his face swell up. The doctors came in and they were about to stop the fight. And Ilia Topuria goes, no, I can see. I'm glad that they didn't stop the fight because they understand Ilia Topuria's first language is Spanish. So when
Wrapping up his analysis, Demetrius Johnson reflected on how the outcome underscored the unpredictable side of MMA math. Even though Ilia Topuria had dominated elite opponents leading up to this point, Justin Gaethje's pressure, precision, and durability turned out to be the ideal counter